What's up everyone? Welcome back to my 4-Star School YouTube channel. In today's lesson, we are continue working on this food delivery application using the Flutter. In the last lesson, we have finished the homepage for this food delivery app, and in this lesson, we are going to work on this detail page. If you are new here, feel free to reach out to my channel page. I have created a Dart programming language tutorial, Flutter for the beginner tutorial, as well as the Flutter UI from a scratch tutorial. So please subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and open a notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. First, let's open our Visual Studio Code and the design file. So in here, I'm going to find this food item, and because I want to wrap the gesture detector a widget for this food item, so I can navigate to this detail page. So we're going to find this food item. I think it's here. It should be inside this food list. Right, so I'm going to wrap a gesture detector here, and I'm going to call it gesture detector, and we have a on tap method. So I think we need to create a detail page first. I just call it detail dar, and also the local widget folder for this detail page, and it should be a stateless widget. I'm going to call it detail page and remove the constructor for now, and import library. Okay, replace the container with our scaffold widget. Change this child to the body attribute, and here just use center widget. For it is child, I'm going to use the text widget. Just indicate this is our detail page, and we can save it for now. Okay, then we can back to our this view. In here, I'm going to use a navigator dot in of context, and we can use this push method. So inside this one, I'm going to use material page route, and I'm going to receive material page route, and we have this builder. I'm going to receive a context, so which we can return our data page. Alright, so I think we need to import library. Okay, should be detail page. Okay, let's save, and we can try. So when I click this food item, I should be navigate to the detail page. So let's collect. Okay, yeah, I see it works in this case. So I also need to pass the food object. So in here, I'm going to declare the food. I'm going to use implement this constructor. We need to import the library. Okay, let's save, and here going to pass our food object. So I think it's sent as this one. So you can just copy here and paste it here. Okay, and hit save. Okay, so in this case, we will be able to access to this food object, and we can start from this point. Let's open our design file. So first, I'm going to implement this custom add bar, as we have already done it in our last video. We create this custom add bar, so it can be used both in this homepage and this detail page, so you can just use the custom widget. Okay, for this scaffold, first we're going to change its background to our primary color. I'm going to use the constant primary color, and for its body, I'm going to use a single child scroll view. And inside we have a child attribute. Here I'm going to use a column widget. We have a children attribute, and for our first child, I think it should be a custom app bar here. Right, we're going to pass our left icon, right icon. So for our left icon, I can just use material icons dot arrow back iOS outlined. This is for our left icon. For the right icon, it should be a search. Oh, sorry, it should be a favorite outlined. Okay, and because when you move your mouse in this custom app bar, we actually define this left callback, right? Because in this detail page, when I click this go back button, I'll be go back to our home page. So we're going to implement that one as well. So it should be a left callback, and here I'm going to pass a navigator dot of context dot port, right? Okay, I think this one should work, and we can save it. And now we can click this food item again. When I click this food item, I will be navigate to this detail page, and when I click this go back button, I will be back to the home page. I think it works. So we just finished our first part because we just use the widget we have finished in last video. So the next part I'm going to work on is this food image. I'm going to create a file for this food image. So let's back to this widget folder. Under the detail folder, I'm going to create a file. I just call it food image .dart, and I declare a stateless widget, call it food image, and remove the constructor for now. So for this content, you can just replace text widget. We can save and put it under this custom app bar. Should be a food image. And I think for this food image, we're going to use this food as well. So I'm going to pass this food in here because we're going to use its image URL. Alright. So we could pass this image URL or just pass this entire food. So I'm going to use this way, pass this entire food object. So we're going to declare attribute food, implement this constructor, this food, going to import a library as well. Okay, and I think that's it. We can start from this point. So first we're going to navigate to this detail page. You see we have our text food image show here. So first I'm going to give this container a height, probably 250, and then in here I'm going to use a stack widget. So let's replace this text with a stack widget. and inside this stack widget we have a children attribute, right? So I'm going to divide these into two parts. So I'm going to use expanded widget. We have a child. It should be a container, empty container, and we have a flag set to 1, and we have another expanded widget. It's another container, but we're going to set its color. So the flags also set to 1. For it is decoration, I'm going to change it is a border. Right here we have a border and also a background. So we're going to use box decoration in this case. Inside this box decoration, we're going to change it is border radius, and we use border radius dots only. I think we could use this only, and only change it is top left and top right. So for top left, going to use circular again, probably 50 is enough, and same as the top right, I'm going to use radius circular, change to 50 as well, and this is for border radius, and we also need to set its color to the background color. Okay, we can save it. You're able to see we implement this one, but without the image. Okay, let's see the flags with container. Oh, sorry, I think we need to use a column widget. Okay, I think those two should inside a column widget. Okay, those two, just copy it and use column widget. And we're going to paste it here, so you're able to see we divide this into two pieces, right? So we're using expanded widget inside this column widget, and we divide it equally. So it took 50%, and this container took another 50%. And then under this column, we're going to use another widget, which is align widget. For this align widget, we're going to implement it is alignment attribute. So we can use alignment center, and for it is child, it should be a container contain our food image. So it should be container. For it is child, so it should be the image, our image assets. We can use food.image URL, right? And also set it is feed, should be box feed.covered. So this is for our image. We can save for now, and you're able to see we have this image, but we're going to customize it. We're going to give it this shadow. So for this container, we're going to first we're going to set the margin using this edgeinsets.or set to 5. Okay, maybe more, set to 15, and give this container width probably 250 and height also 250. For it is decoration, use box decoration. We're going to change its shape, should be box shape.circle, and also we're going to implement it is box shadow. So inside this list, we're going to use box shadow. We're going to place the color. So for color, we're going to use a gray color, but with opacity set to 0.3, and also for the offset, going to set to -1 and 10, and the blur radius going to set to 10. Okay, I think that's enough. So let's save, and you see we have this box shadow, very similar like here. Okay, so I think we finished this part, and next we're going to implement this food detail. So for the food detail, I'm going to create another file under this widget folder. I'm going to call it food detail.dar, and I just declare a stateless widget, call it food detail. Okay, remove the constructor for now and import library. I'm going to just use some text shown here, detail, right? So we're going to use the detail inside the food object. So we're going to create our food object and issue from, going to use this.food, implement the constructor and import library as well. So let's save, then back to the detail.dar. Under this food image, I'm going to import our food detail. Also pass the food. Okay, so let's save. You're able to see this text shown here, indicate we have a food detail widget shown here. So we can start from this point. And so first one, I'm going to replace this text widget with a column widget, because I want to use a column widget for those. This will be our first column, second column, third, and fourth and fifth. Okay, so going to replace this text widget with the column widget, and we have a children attribute inside this column, and we're going to keep some padding for this container. So I'm using edgeinsets.or and change it to 25, and then for the color, because you know we're going to change this background color to this background color we define. So let's save for now, and we're going to increase this column. So we're going to use a row widget inside this column, and it will automatically occupy the weight of the screen. So don't worry, we're going to implement that. So for our first column, it should be food name, and we're going to style it. So using the text style, inside this text style, we're going to change the font weight to bold, and also font size change to 22. So let's save. Okay, it's big enough. And for the next column, should be a row, but before that I'm going to give some space between. So we're going to set to 15, and I'm using another row widget. Implement it is children attribute, but for this row, and I'm going to use space between, for it is main axis alignment. Oh, sorry, it's no space between, it should be a space evenly. Okay, so for it is trial, because you know this very similar, just icon on the left side and text on the right side. So I'm going to create a method which return these icon text. So I think I should call it build icon text method. So I'm going to implement that. It will return a widget. So inside this build text icon, we're going to receive the icon, so it should be our icon data, and also the color for the icon, and the text. So we're going to return a row, right? So we have child, we have an icon, and inside we just place this icon, and the color, and last is the size, place 20. So this should be our first row, and we have a text, place our text, and also style it using the text style. We're going to change the font size to 16. Okay, that's enough. We can use this build icon text in here. So for our first icon text, it should be the icons.access time outline. This is for the icon, and the color is blue, and the text is food.waitTime. So we can save and see what's coming. See, we have this showing up, very similar. You notice when I using this row inside this column, you will automatically occupy this entire screen width. So we can just copy that and save. You will have a 3 cent icon text shown here. So we're going to change the second one. So the second one should be start and outline, and so for the color, amber, it will be a score to string. Okay, let's save. Okay, should be outlined. Save again. Okay, now it looks very similar. And for the third one, I'm going to use local fired depart and outlined. Okay, this one should be local. Okay, the color would be red, and this one would be car. So let's save. Okay, now it's very similar shown here. So next we're going to implement this one, which is the quantity for this food. And we're going to, first I'm going to give some space. I'm going to use size box, height set to 30. And we're going to create a food quantity widget. Also, I'm going to pass the food. So I'm going to create another file called food quantity inside this widget folder. So there, and it should be a stateless widget. So I'm going to create a stateless widget, call it food quantity, remove the constructor, and import library. So here just return food quantity. Going to declare attribute for our food object, and implement this constructor, this food. Okay, and also import library. So let's save, and also we're going to import library here as well. Let's save, and you are able to see this text shown here. So for the food quantity, and let's see. So in here, I'm going to use a stack widget. You know, this is a stack, and the text behind is another stack. So we're going to use stack widget. So first, let's back to this food quantity. For this container, I'm going to give it wet. So for the wet, it'll be double max fit, and for it is height change to a 40. So then we can use a stack widget. Child. Oh, it should be children. Sorry. Okay, we can save, and nothing will show in here. Then we're going to implement our first trial. So here I'm going to use a line widget. You can say it is alignment. I'm going to use alignment constructor. We can say minus 0.3 and 0. Okay, for it is trial, I'm going to use a container. Change it is wet to 120. For it is high, I'm going to use double max vanity. And for it is decoration, should be a box decoration. Inside this box decoration, going to change its color. Color star gray with capacity. Going to 0.1 and change its border radius using border radius dot circular to 30. Okay, and after that, going to implement it is trial. Should be a road widget. Implement it is children. First, I'm going to keep some space before the first text. Set width to 15, and then I'm going to write down our text widget. It's a $sign, and I'm going to style it using text style. Change the font size to 12, and also font weight to bold. Okay, and another text widget. You will come from food price, and using these two strings, we can also style it using text style. Okay, text style. So inside this text style, we're going to change the font size to 24, and also font weight change to bold. Okay, let's save. You'll be able to see something shown here, very similar, right? And then we can implement the second child inside this stack widget. So we're going to define another align widget. Implement this alignment. So we're going to use alignment. But in this case, it will be positive 0.3 and 0. So the first one indicate the horizontal. So the positive means to right, and negative means to left. So going to implement child using the container. So height also using this double max vanity, and this one you actually is 40. This one probably is equal to 40, and the width also change to 120. For the decoration, use box decoration. Going to use color, should be primary color, and the border radius, I'm going to use border radius dot circular set to 30, and then for the child should be a row widget as well. We can change its main axis alignment to space evenly, and for its child children, so first the minus I and style it using text style, and change the font size to 20 and font weight to bold. This is our first trial. So the second one will be a container, and inside this container I'm going to give it some padding. So padding is edge inset 4 set to 12, and also a decoration. I'm going to use a box decoration. So for the box decoration, for the box decoration, going to change its shape to box shape circle, and also color change to colors.y. This for it is a decoration. So the child should be a text using food quantity to string, right? And also style it, make it bold. So using text style, change the font weight to bold. So for our last child, so we can just copy our first one, put in under this container, change to plus sign. Okay, and we can save it. Okay, now and it look very similar. Since this one just the UI tutorial, so I'm not going to use any state management. So when you click those two, it didn't change the number inside. Okay, I think that's for this food quantity. And next I'm going to implement this ingredient. Let's back to VS Code and find these food detail .dar. So under this food quantity, we're going to give some space, probably the same. 30 is enough, and then I can use a row widget for this text. So the reason I use row widget because I want to align it to the start. So can implement our text widget here. Children. So inside the text, it should be a ingredient. Can style a little bit using text style. For the text style, we can change its font weight to bold, and also font size to 18. Okay, let's save. You're able to see these ingredient title shown here, and then we're going to implement this ingredient. So for ingredient, we can go back to check our food object. In here, I define a list of map which contain a list of ingredients. So the key would be the name, the value would be this image. So we could use in this case. So let's back to this food detail .dar. First, give some space. Just copy here. Change probably 10 is enough, and save. Okay, so under it, I'm going to create container because I want to use a list view. So I'm going to wrap with container inside this container, I'm going to specify it is height, and probably 100 is enough. For the child, I'm going to use list view separated. So I'm going to implement those required attributes one by one. So first, I'm going to change the direction. I will be horizontal, and then for it is item count should be food ingredient dot length, and for let's see, for it is separator, and we can just use a size box. Give it weight 15 is enough. And for this item builder, we're going to receive the context and index as well. Okay, so here first we just return a text. So I need to solve the problem. I think okay, we can save it for now. And you're able to see we have a 4 item. All is this text, because we have a 4 item inside our ingredient. So we're going to style it. So for this one, we can use a column widget. So the first column should be the image, and the second column is the text. But we wrap it with the container because we're going to change it as a border radius. So let's delete this text. I'm going to return a container. Inside the container, we're going to first give some padding. Padding, we're going to use edge inset or set to 10, and also the decoration. Using the box decoration, going to change the color. So color change to white, and also the border radius. Going to use border radius circular, set to 40. And for it is trial, as we discussed, we're going to use a column widget. And for it is children, so we're going to use image.access. We can use food ingredient index dot values first, because inside the map the value will be the image URL, and the key will be our name. So for the text, we can use a food ingredient index dot keys dot first. But when you give this image a weight set to 52, okay, I think that's it. We can save. Now you're able to see we have these ingredients showing up, right? Almost the same. Okay. If you have more than 4 items, these can be scrolled in horizontal. Okay, I think that's for this ingredient. So next we're going to implement the about section. So this should be pretty simple. So going to find this, where is it? Or under this container, we're going to give some space using a size box, probably set to 30 for it is high, and we're going to use a row implemented children, so the text just above going to style it. So for the text style, we're going to change the font weight to bold, and also font size change to 18. Let's save. Okay, that's good. And also under this row, we're going to use another size box for the space, change to 10, and also implement it is above using food above, and you can style it using text style. Going to change the wall spacing to 1.2 and height set to 1.5, and also change the font size to 16. Okay, let's save. And since we wrap this entire column inside a single child scroll view, so it could be scroll. Okay, and we can click back and choose another dishes. Yeah, it seems good, right? Okay, back to design file. So last one is this floating action button. So let's back to our detail file and going to find under the single scroll child scroll view, we're going to implement this floating action button. So we're going to, so first I'm using a container, set the width to 100, height going to be 56, and then for this child I'm going to use a row material button. Inside this we're going to fill out its color, will be our primary color, and also change the shape. Going to use rounded rectangle, border, change the border radius to 50. Okay, and then going to let's see, change its elevation. Sorry, should be outside this. Change the elevation just to 2, and also the child for this material button. I'm going to use a row and implement its children. So the reason, because I think the on press should be implement for this row material button. So we can just make it empty for now. We're going to implement our row widget. So we're going to set this main axis alignment to space evenly, and for our first trial should be the icon, and we have icons, shopping bag outlined, right, and color be black, and the size going to 30. So this should be our first trial. For the second one, just a container, we set some padding using inset.or set to 15, and also decoration using box decoration. I'm going to set it to white color, and also change the shape to box shape circle. And then for its trial, it should be a text, and we could access to our food object using quantity.toString, because we're inside the text widget, and we can style it, and we're using text style, right? And inside this text style, we're going to change the color for the text should be black, and also font size to 18, and also font weight change to bold. Okay, I think that's all. We can save. Okay, you'll see we're going to have the very similar floating button shown here. Okay, I think that's all for this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and open the notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.